This young man is a modern-day doctor. In a medical trip. Give a president some power. You've been told by him not to go back to ancient times. Here, you've shown with your surgical prowess. There's no disease you can't cure. You want to go back to modern life. Before that, God did not care. The Kier president finally arrived. Give you a chance to come back. But at this time, the Japanese invaded. You don't want to leave your self-destructive friends here. So you've decided to stay with everyone. Against the Japanese. What's going on? Please watch. The morning sky is special. The clouds and the sun's rays were so strong. In a building that's a skyscraper hospital. There were 2 doctors inside who greeted me happily. Someone is walking in. Wade stepped quickly inside. And they say good morning to them. I see you in such a hurry. The person in the back continued to ask. What are you busy with? Huang Wei sighed a little in response. I'm going to the director's office. You're a man of outstanding skill. To become a full professor at medical school. In the early 30s. With a solid and gorgeous body. Combined with a very good-looking face. But of course, when that AI is so prominent, surely the people around you. I'll never leave them alone. I pressed the button in the elevator. They're going to invite me to another show. He stroked his hair and muttered. I was too busy to date. How to reject them this time? Then, Huang Wei also walked inside the director's room. Bow his head and greet him. The director now seems quite worried. Shrugging hands to tell you. Sorry to bother you while you were busy. Of course, White did not dare to express it. What many just sighed a breath and said. It's okay. I don't have any special schedule today. You think in your heart that if it did, it would be much better. Then Huang Wei went to ask the director. Why did you suddenly call me here? He noticed his hand and thought. Maybe the director wants to ask you out. Golf throughout the holiday season. But then, the white man was startled to realize one more thing. He's rubbing his hands twice as fast as ever. Finally, how much trouble will this make? The director was now laughing and glancing away. The president asked you to come to his house for a medical examination. And convenient. Maybe he wants to introduce you to someone. Huang Wei finished listening and opened his mouth. Face 2 problems at a time. Why did you have to reject him twice? But no matter how disgruntled you are, don't say it. Bak Kwang pursed his lips and turned his head, thinking silently. As the president, you can't refuse. The president of this hospital is also the leader of a leading Korean corporation. He's a modern trader. I also love going to charity. When you think about it, you can only sigh. Invited by such a person to his own house, who can refuse it? The director saw that Huang Wei didn't say anything. Take out a big bag from under the table. Told me to get everything ready. Sir, the president ordered some of those special drugs. He hugged the medicine bag with a sigh. When is the time? When he heard it, he answered. The time is now. He said, the 2 directors are rubbing each other like crazy. Later, of course, White Wei was right in front of your door. The president sighed in disbelief. It's hard to make a living these days. Go inside and see everything inside. Huang Wei again exclaimed. Inside the house is so old. It's not scarier than I thought. Are we going to see the president or death? Right now, there's a mechanical voice in the hallway. It makes you jump. It's a speaker mounted on the wall. He said, you can go straight down the aisle. This is the president's voice. I went to Bak Kwang Wei and thought. I heard that his personality is a little unique. Looks like it's real. Later, he gently pushed the door inside a room. In front of you right now is the president. He's smiling gently at you. Eyes. The chairman looked at Bai Kwang Wei very affectionately. He sat down in front of him and said hello. The president laughed and poured water. Look how you've been lately. If you hear that, think again. This old man has always been kind to you. You accidentally treated his secretary before. And by that person constantly praising. The director had a good impression of Kwang Wei. You're behaving in the right way. Being liked is also normal. Bak Kwang Wei's healing process is masterpiece of classy artwork. And then he popped his nose proudly. Then the president Cassava, sleeves up, asked Kwang Wei slowly. If you have come, can you check my blood pressure? You're just getting your stuff ready. He invited a genius surgeon. Just to check your blood pressure. That's a lot of money. After a little measurement, the results are still normal. When the president heard it, he smiled. It is so sao. Maybe it's because we've been playing football lately. I looked at him and laughed, but I couldn't laugh. Going to the hospital is just an excuse. Seeing the new eyes is real. But suddenly, the president asked him something else. Are you interested in antiques? When Kwang Wei is still confused, then he took out a watercolor painting that he held up. The chairman showed the painting Ra and asked him. How do you see this picture? But Bak Kwang Wei was not too familiar with antiques. He looked at the picture for a moment and asked. Who are these 2? The president replied that he doesn't know the details. Then the president's eyes dropped coldly. But this picture is beautiful, isn't it? Kwang Wei stared at it without responding. Then he raised his head and said, "It feels like I've seen it somewhere." Already said. He reached out his hand and wanted to touch the painting. The president laughed, as I thought. You feel that way too, don't you? Suddenly, there was a light in front of Kwang Wei. Tie your eyes up. It's as if some force is pulling you back to the back. White Kwang Wei's eyes widen. It's incredible. And then you hear it fluttering in your hand. Looks like there's an AI talking. The president over here also screamed in panic. Kwang Wei heard the voice, but you can't hear what it is. The painting is full of details, with red flowers. There's that AI screaming right now. Why haven't you woken up yet? The White House is finally fading. I can hear that AI voice. But it's not clear. You said you couldn't hear anything. Kier's voice still persisted right now. Kwang Wei suddenly opened his eyes. In front, you are now the dark face of the world. He rolled his eyes near his voice. I don't know if I should use my fists to wake you up. No more immediately. White Wei holding a pillow. Buried directly in the head. Shocked, he stepped back and asked. Who is this? What's going on? Not only you, but the whole world is confused. The lady asked me to wake you up. Then Kwang Wei bent down. Looking at yourself is even more scary. What is this outfit? This is hanbok. You put it on me, right? Then, he glanced at everything around him and wondered. Where is this place? Meanwhile, Dig asked again. Star, from now on, you're talking politely to me again. White Kwang Wei is bored to think. You're obviously talking to the president. What happened? Right now, there is. Another man pushed the door in anger. Yell at this son of a bitch. It's hard to believe when you just saw him. Roll up your eyes. This angry man is gnashing his teeth. This is excess writing. White Wei holds the medicine bag in his hand like a fool. I asked if Father Sao. If you see that, ask again. Dad, what are you still awake for? Then Kwang Wei shivered, pointing at him, stammering. Say no to sentences. This is a dream, right? You're clearly my father. But wait, you passed away last year. When he finished speaking, the writer stood up. It makes you sweat. He held a wooden stick in his hand. Then he swung his broom. Anger is about to hit you. White Kui Yao. You like to dance between the lines, the world of life and death. What is it? He hurried to stop him. Right now, outside there's another servant speaking. Lord, I have called the master. The old man bowed his head respectfully. The Lord has been well lately. When you hear that, stop your hand. You are here. Already said. Then the two men said to the old man. There is a little servant in my house who is unwell. You go to see it. Meanwhile, Bak Kwang Wei is still complaining. How strange. Is this dream so real? Inside the room, the old man is catching Kier's little servant's pulse. Later, he closed his hand and told everyone. It looks like a vein blockage. We have to give him acupuncture and give some stomach medicine. Combination watermelon stem powder. Then, he looked anxiously at his tool bag. I thought I had the wrong old needle. It is used to cure diseases, probably not SAO. The Lord continued to ask everyone. By the way, your house has sharp objects. Can you throw it away after one use? Later, he's got a chipped knife, and his tongue is filthy. Hold up the boy's hand. At this moment, the white man rushed in, pushed the door, and screamed. Wait, what are you doing? Inside the nearly large office. The whole thing is close when I tell you. You threw the ritual out the window, didn't you? Right now, I panicked with you. AI uses kitchen knives again, to clear the veins for someone else? Not to mention the old knife. That name is not a charlatan. When he finished speaking, the old man replied angrily. Do you know how much we have accomplished? Thanks to these hands? Then Bak Kwang Wei walked into the flying stone room, the knife on hand. The old man told me to move aside. Or you'll kill the boy. You walk in. He looked at the little servant who was frowning. Ask him what his name is. After learning that your name is Jewel, Kwang Wei immediately said, I'll lift the blanket and try to bend the pillow. When I saw that, I panicked and asked you. Why do they naturally do that? Take out the white Kwang Wei and shout it out. Even if we dream, we can't accept it. The treatment is so bad. The old man over there saw the scene and pondered. Thinking as rumored, young Master Kier is really troublesome. Let's see how humiliated you are. At this point, Kwang Wei used 2 fingers to try, down to the jade belly, and immediately he frowned. The sweat is full of pain. When you see that, you judge. Hard and hot belly. When Kwang Wei loosened his hands, Ngok Thatch reacted. It's worse when you press down. The pain is concentrated in the lower right abdomen. Then, Bak Kwang Wei immediately paid attention to catch the pulse for him. Diving is still not trusted. Go to small talk with Kwang Wei. Missing GI. Apologize to the doctor and let him treat you. But like last time, he was yelled at by you. Trust that charlatan, dream it up. Bring my bag. Even if you want to say more, you will be fired. This boy's pulse is now 120 beats per minute. If you don't want him dead, hurry up. Later, the medicine bag that Bai Kuang-Wi brought Theo was brought. You're 6 in your pocket, frowning. There's too much in here. And antibiotics and local anesthetics. Why is the bag so heavy? Even if you go to the clinic, it doesn't take that much. Then Kuang-Wi took out a needle. Gently tell the jade. It will be a little cold and painful. Don't move. The first thing to do is to inject the anesthetic. Then he took out another scalpel. The old man saw the scene and shouted, "Wait. What are you trying to do? You just yelled at him. If you can't help, shut up." The knife went a long way, sweet on the belly of the jade. The terrified old man screamed loudly. "You're going to operate on the living. Are you crazy?" He immediately raised the knife, gritted his teeth, and looked at him. "Shut up and help me." Then he went on to operate on the boy. I just made Kuang-Wi think. It's what I thought was appendicitis. No wonder the boy hurt so much. The appendix is inflamed and swollen. Bak Kuang-Wi's skillful hands were agile. Through the wound. Finding the inflammation is the hardest part. When you find it, it will be much easier. And the people who were there saw this, they were gaping. I can't believe it. The scissors have now cut the last extra thread. The stitches on the jade's stomach have closed. No more bleeding. It's finally done. Kuang-Wi laughed confidently. As expected, I am a genius. Then he told the jade that his face was now rosy. Better yet, I'll get the fever down soon. The surgery was a success, just drink. He was talking, and suddenly he stopped. 3 Kier are cornered in a horrible corner. I look at you as if I see you. Ask a question to the young master. How can you do that? You obviously cut her up. I heard that. White Huang-Wi was a little embarrassed to explain. It's where Sao is. You never explain. These are for ordinary people. The old man spoke for an hour and said. Watch out. The young master eliminated this boy's misfortune. I thought you were just being lazy. Turns out he's a little talented. Wi holds the appendix in his hand. I'm always confused to hear that. Even the Bible is amazing to say. It's impossible. Go out with that boy. I've learned this stuff. Bak Kuang-Wi decided. I don't want to talk to them anymore. Even an explanation doesn't work. This is just a dream. Then you take some pills out of your pocket. Give to Dig. Help me break these 2 pills into powder. Then mix it with water. Let the jade drink the rest. Give it tomorrow morning. The police received those pills from Tae Kuang-Wi. And then dug thuck deep wearing drugs. Look at my brother below. Then he pursed his lips. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Suddenly, he bent over politely. Tell Bak Kuang-Wi, Master, thank you very much for saving my brother. When you heard this, you smiled happily. Then Kuang-Wi woke up. Butterhands Ra said. Then you have to pay for the treatment. And immediately after that, he threw up his stick. I'm going to give you another fight. The house where Bak Kuang-Wi lives is now at night. You lie in bed. Think about what happened during the day. Performing surgery in North Korea. I saw your face after a long time. NDTO maybe Kuang-Wi won't mind. If I ever see this dream again. Early morning the next day. The dawn has just come. In the temple, you heard the voice of God. Missing GIA. You just woke up. I brought the sink. In Bak Kuang-Wi's room. You're lying in bed, constantly swirling. Then Kuang-Wi sat up with a pale face as white as the dead. You try to operate. The brain was at full capacity all night and realized. After using this genius brain to analyze. Maybe this isn't a dream. After sitting and thinking about everything. Then Bak Kuang-Wi, we finally have to accept the truth. You went through North Korea. And the only thing, what you brought from the modern world, is a doctor's bag. But fortunately, Kuang-Wi into the noble's body. Just at this moment, he came up and said. This morning, the stone's health is much better. So I have something to tell you. Bak Kuang couldn't say anything more. Then he screamed. I dropped the white pill you gave me. Please give another member. When you heard it, you whispered. You should have been careful. It's hard to find these days. But when you look inside the medicine bag, Kuang-Wi became bewildered. I just picked up a bottle of antibiotics. Then you realize something. Bak Kuang-Wi thought silently. You obviously opened the bottle yesterday. Sao suddenly became this new star. Even the stitches you used yesterday. It also becomes like new. What happened? A moment later, Wee along with, come to see the disease, Cho Ngok Thatch. Kuang-Wi touched the fresh stitches on her stomach. The boy thought. The stitches are still here, and it's why. You're sitting on the front porch staring at your chin. After time travel, well, none of this should surprise you. So the condition of the bag will be refreshed. Again, after suddenly, a day, the train is coming. Tell Bak Kuang-Wi something. I heard that there will be a festival at the market today. The public who used to play in A Hoji will also go there. If you want to go, I will escort you. When you hear that, you look at it. Right, I have to know exactly when this is. If you go outside, you might find a clue. Scene moved to at the fair. There's a circus going on. An artist is bending himself, jumping over a rope, hanging on high. Below Kwang Wei and the audience cheered. It's very exciting. You're clapping and you're complaining. At first, you didn't expect much. But this festival is surprisingly interesting. The artist wears one. The clown mask suddenly raised its hand. Immediately, another performer also rolled around in the air. Then, he kicked one leg hard in the middle of his chest. The White House sits outside. I was also startled to see this scene. The blue-shirted artist stepped back a few steps. But very quickly, the person kept on performing. You're surprised that person is okay. It was a great show. Shortly after the show ended, the artist just stood there. Put up your shirt. Everyone was pleased with the performance. Not today. If so, please give us a few dollars. A person wearing a mask. He walked in front of Kwang Wei and said, I see, you seem to enjoy the show. Please generously reward us. You just looked at this guy and thought. This is the guy from before. You're smaller than you think. I'm looking. Bok Kwang Wei also looked at the Kier's neck, then discovered, this person has no throat. Is Sao's daughter. You're very curious. But why does she speak in a man's voice? Maybe people have their own reasons. Kwang Wei closed his eyes and thought he had his own reason. Then he crossed his arms with a very passionate expression on his face. It is time to sit down at the table with your dog. Kwang Wei is still scowling, but I don't know if it's worse than yours. It's naturally pierced here. I was eating suddenly. Sean looked to one side. Outside the restaurant, there were two women standing there looking at it. It's more than a rumor. When you hear that, you laugh arrogantly. See, this face still works, while in Korea. But immediately, Kwang Wei was disillusioned when the two of them mentioned the name of the sitting opposite. He just finished shaving off the soup-soaked bangs. It is difficult to see the face of Kwang Wei. Why do you look at me like that? Don't tell me you thought the Kier girls were looking at you. Then the laughing voice of Dao Shu echoed. The young master is also handsome, but there's a long distance between us. That's the beauty gap. He was very cocky when he finished speaking. Out my chest muscles. White Wei is over there. If you see that, you can immediately fly. You've forgotten all about history. I certainly remember being a servant. You shouldn't be so arrogant. At that moment, suddenly there was a loud noise. It seems that the AIs ate rice drops. He and his wife stopped at the same time. Turn your head and look at Kier. There's a voice screaming at you in prison. Everyone there is huddled around. A man is lying on the ground. He looked for a moment and then said softly, that's the circus that performed earlier. They seem to be in trouble. Tomorrow they will perform at the house of a great man. But now, it seems impossible. He said he came back to eat. While eating, I found out where Bok Kwang Wei had gone. A young girl in tears. Sitting next to the artist. Father, please wake up. She looked down at her father below. Afraid of your face. He's not breathing. It was fine just now. Kwang Wei doesn't know when he ran away. Give your hand out to the editor and comment. The pulse is no longer beating. Then you start rolling your sleeves and frowning. Look at clothes like this. He seems to be the one who met accident in the previous performance. When Bok Kwang Wei was getting ready to work, then suddenly a guy slaps you on the shoulder. How dare you touch him? Immediately, Kwang Wei turned his head and stared loudly. If you leave the patient like this, then he'll die. Do you want to live in regret later? The guy who heard that stopped. The woman next to him whispered to him. Our young master is very good at medicine. Just trust him and let him work. The girl heard that and asked anxiously. He's the great man Sao. He glanced at Kwang Wei's place. Silence does not speak. To you, this young man is a great man. I'm taking off my shirt here. To Ra consider. He was hit very hard in the chest earlier. Is the heart problem Sao? When you take off your shirt, there was a huge bruise in the middle of his chest. He stared seriously at me. Come here for a moment. He came quickly to ask what was wrong. He took it from Ra's pocket. A syringe. Keep the patient safe for you. And then right in front of everyone. Kwang Wei stabbed the syringe straight into the middle of the prison's chest. The guy saw that and was terrified. That name is crazy. But I can't do anything else. The shovel clamped his neck. Just trust him and wait a moment. You see, Bok Chiang Wei also has to complain. Now, you know why he was born that way. Syringe on the chest. I've drawn some blood now. Then Kwang Wei called to Dig Thuk again. Watch carefully and do what I say. He squeezed his lips. His face looked very serious. Here's how you can save that person. As he spoke, he pressed hard on his chest. If you see that, you will observe. This is a way to save people, pressing hard and repeatedly on other people's breasts. After a while, it still doesn't feel right. He wiped his sweat. You haven't tried it yet. He's still confused when he hears his name. Kwang Wei began to guide for digging. Press down between the nipples with your palms. He's doing exactly as I did before. The speed is the same. When he heard that, he closed his eyes and breathed. Withdraw your words. Kwang Wei pressed hard on the chest of the prison. The girl sitting next to me asked anxiously. What kind of therapy is this? I've never seen or heard of. He was talking when he looked at her and stopped. White Kuit, and he's bending over to breathe for the prison. Shirei faces two people. I remember my father before, determined to refuse to take another wife. I can't believe it. And then she was so angry she came and strangled you and shook you. You son of a bitch, dare you, it is the pure love of my father. At the same time, Kwang Wei also appeared. Quiet voice with Peach Thuck. You can stop now. And he breathes passionately when he hears that. Stop, according to your words. Then Peach Thuck glanced down at the bottom. Even the Kier girl looked at Theo and stopped. Everyone who was there. Keep your breath on him. Then the monk slowly opened his eyes and looked at everything around him. White Kuit. He sat on one side, laughing arrogantly. The patient is awake. Later on the road, there were countless nobles standing. Let's talk about something. Everyone is paying attention to the White House. It's buzzing endlessly, but the pulse has stopped. I don't even breathe anymore. It's not that he's dead. They're amazed at what just happened. It's even rumored. You have the ability to bring the dead back to life. Kwang Wei heard that whispering in his stomach. It's not a big deal. He bent down and asked the priest. Your chest was hit very hard by the VA, right? Then Kwang Wei began to explain to him. At that time, the blood of the clump has gathered around the heart. That's why your heart can't beat. But we've dealt with it, so there's no need to worry. Say, a long guy. Sean looked up at the two men. They're looking at you. Of course, I don't understand. This place is still Korea. But at the same time, he also noticed the changed eyes of the two men. They didn't understand, but their eyes were full of gratitude. Now, then the Kier girl jumped up and hugged his leg and said. Thank you very much. Please forgive the previous behavior of the people. He also stood up and told Bak Kwang Wei. Thanks to the Lord, that we can continue to perform. At the government house. When you finish listening, you frown incomprehensively, even if you are in the name of death. But still worried about the Sao Peach Thuck show in the back. When I saw Kwang Wei's face, I explained. It's because they performed at the government house. Sir, he is one of the highest ranking people in Suwon. If a civilian can participate in the event, organized by such people. 2. The father and son of the circus are now standing up, shed tears for happiness. But Bak Kwang Wei continued 6. My medicine bag, and tell the girl. The boss can go back to work now. This is your medicine, take it with water. He reminded her more that. Come to your house to prescribe more medicine. When the girl heard that, she bowed her head anxiously. He even gave us medicine. I really don't know how to repay you. As soon as he finished, he raised his hand. He rolled his eyes and said, of course, it was money. But you're talking when you suddenly stop. Then Kwang Wei watched around silently, thinking, there are too many people here. Being public is not okay. Then you raise your hand and think seriously. A few minutes later, he returned to the girl. If you want to thank me, can you help me with something? Of course, she didn't hesitate to agree. When you hear that, you put your face down. The voice also became very serious. That's what Zoe wanted to ask her. Is to find information about Korea for you. Kwang Wei thought. Compared to the cost of treatment, this will be much more useful. The girl was stunned when she heard it. For hearing the strange request. The scene moved to the village of Tu Nguyen at night. The moon's light illuminated the roof of the cottage. On the way there was a man shivering with a stick. Step by step, hard, Peach and White are on the road. This young man seems to be very tired. Your face is very dull right now. Kwang Wei breathed a little thought to himself. How much longer do we have to walk? If you have a car, it takes about 30 minutes. But an effort like this is worth it. I have helped the artists. And get their help. As well as learning new things. First of all, this place is the original, an area of Korea. No matter how many times I look, I still can't see Wezyeong Fort. So that means that this era is at a crossroads, time before King Jongjo ascended the throne. At this moment, the master called out to the master. Too weak. That's because you always drink. Kwang Wei heard that and thought. The name Kier is starting again. The second thing, it's your current body that's an idiot. Despised by the servant himself, but according to Bak Kwang, you know about North Korea. Do the nobles live like this? Are thinking, then suddenly, you hear that AI's voice talking about. It's too late, in front of the audience. He stood there, staring at me. You've been drinking all day, haven't you? If you look at this face, you must be very angry. You are mad, you are mad. I'm going to have a stroke because of you. The goal of living 100 years. We have to kill people right now. He looked back at his father, who was holding his sword, and was afraid. Think as you think. An ignorant young man in North Korea. I can't live alone. What to do now? His power is no joke. Before he could do anything, he immediately took the sword, dashed to stab Kwang Wei. He gritted his teeth thinking at full power. Things have turned out like this. It's now or never. Then he knelt down in front of the prophet. Before I could cut it down, stopped. Then he darkened his face near his voice. What the hell is this? If we hit the back, you will hurt more than usual. Do you know? The entire White House was sweating. He breathed for a moment and then said, Father-son. Plans to focus on studying medicine. The air seemed to stop. I can't understand my son. What are you thinking about? At this moment, the snow suddenly appeared. Tell him the young man is interested. The science of medicine seems to be real. He brought a man back from the dead today. When I heard that, I was shocked beyond belief. Tell me again if it's standard news. Sean, you heard what Sean just said. Laughter is possible. I don't know when he ran away. But good job, quick flatter. There is still no emotion in the face of the prophet. Yes, master. He hasn't drunk a drop of wine today. When I finished, the writer was amazed. More than the last time I screamed. White Kwang Wei found that very curious. Why was he so surprised? At this point, it seems that the color is flying in shock. I still can't get that information. And then he was in tears. Glancing to another place. But it can't be contained. A sob full of emotion. Then he turned around and left a sentence. Tomorrow, the sun will rise in the west. It's too late. Go inside and rest. Wade stood up at this moment, bewildered. Dust off yourself. You just saw that scene. It's very exciting. I can't believe he'll cry. This father is not good either. It's very emotional to show. Just like your real father. At this time, he came to ask Kwang. A sentence with no head and no tail. You were serious earlier, weren't you? It's not that I don't trust you, but people's lives will be in danger. He wants to ask. We will really focus on studying medicine. When you hear that, take a breath. Not responding, just thinking. It's nonsense. You've seen at least thousands of patients. I don't know if I have to live in North Korea. How long is this? But you can't live. You can be seen as an idiot. So here's the decision. Best in the current situation. Then go a little bit. Then Bok Kwang Wei suddenly came back to ask him to dig out. The Kier Circus said it would be in the government house. After receiving the reply, you said you'd be there tomorrow. Listening to it is very difficult to understand. Not you. I said I don't want to go to crowded places. Why did I suddenly change my mind? As soon as he finished speaking, he caught an arrogant face. What else is Bok Kwang Wei's work for? Advertising, of course. About how we can save people. Scene moved to the circus. Was performing very enthusiastically yesterday. People were watching the show and talking. I heard the priest almost died yesterday. But suddenly, a noble appeared. And saved his life. There aren't two nobles talking about this. Kwang Wei doesn't know when. There was a wind behind them. He proudly turned to the two men. You must be talking about me. Bok Kwang Wei's ears are working at full capacity, listening everywhere. Whoever's doing what? Just mention that you ran back to brag. He stood on one side, watching the scene, thinking. As a servant. He shouldn't have said that. But the young master is too exaggerated. He looked at the young man and said nothing. I don't know if Bok can read it. Thinking or essay. He came next to him and asked. You just said I was flattering, right? But you're not angry. It only explains this action. We're working. This is the only way to get more customers. Build brand and customer trust. White Kuit. I remember the sight of the old man the day before, but thinking in my head. Patients should come to you. People whose medical knowledge goes beyond centuries. The cure would be better than letting the charlatans here do it. At this time, a servant came to the bell. Tell Kwang Wei, our Lord wants to see you. When you see that, you laugh arrogantly. Looks like it worked. Later in the Lord's house. White Kwang Wei is politely sitting on his knees in front of him. You're worried. Lift your head slightly, and look at the person in front of you. This person is the family. Why his sense of majesty? It's not the right form. The officer then asked him in his voice. Kwang Wei then also introduced himself. The butler cleared his voice and continued. There's a lot of talk that says you're just a fool. But look, it's just a rumor. I heard you saved the dead. If so, he stopped for a moment. He stared at White Wei. I don't know. Can you help other things come back to life? When you say this, the man's face was obviously somewhat dark. You sound a little worried. Bring back other things. But what is it? But this is an opportunity for Kwang Wei to score with points. People of higher status. You just need to save it, right? Then he slowly replied to this man. If you'd like to be more specific. I'll save it for you. He was silent for a moment and then uttered a word. Proud to hear it. I still don't understand what the family is talking about. Then, he added, in a voice that couldn't have been more natural. The pride of men. He is dead and cannot live again. Kwang Wei, when he heard about this, it was no less surprising. It's really hard to tell. Then you remember, I found it in my medicine bag. There's Viagra. When I thought about it, Kwang Wei had a smile. Couldn't be fresher. You are so confident, you tell your family. I can save it. The dawn has risen on the roofs. In the hydro region. I don't know, at Sao, stood at the door of Bok Kwang Wei's house, calling out. Are you there, Kwang Wei? He pushed the door out and yawned and asked. Who came so early in the morning? In the eyes of Kwang Wei was the smiling face of the. His family was happy and shouted, it's alive, and it's back. My pride is alive again. I was reborn as a new person. The butler's voice echoed through the region. On the contrary, White we thought. So at dawn, he came looking for you. Look, he had a great time last night. They don't pay attention to the image, and just rushed to embrace Kwang Wei. You helped me become a real man. It's all thanks to you. At that time, someone came. When I saw this, I dropped the pink basket in my hand. Dig Thuk. Looking at the scene in front of me, I was shocked. The pink basket in his hand was all over the ground. Then Dig immediately put on a face that couldn't be more discriminatory. Look at the two. White Hui only knows how to yell and explain. It's not what you think, you idiot. The official is now. Gently take your hand. It's like holding a precious object. He told you in tears. Thank you very much. I want to express my gratitude to you. Do you want anything? Whatever it is, I will satisfy all your wishes. When Zoe heard that, she asked in surprise. Anything is okay. Get the official's firm answer. Then you have a very sinister smile. A moment later, Kwang Wei stood still to observe a new confines. You are so excited, smiling and thinking. With just a few Viagra pills, I've built a whole hospital.